Hey everyone, it's Paul here, and I have some thoughts. I've been kind of debating back and forth with people on the internet. Not anything too crazy because you can't let this wrestling stuff get you so out of sorts that you're going to be, you know, overly angry or overly mad about stuff or whatever. Can't let it annihilate you. But I got some Goldberg thoughts, and one thing is if you follow our channel, excuse me, thank you first of all. I appreciate it, and we do it because we love being able to share family time with so many of you, and people that just tune in just to see how silly we are. And I want you to know that none of this is a show. This is just how we are. We decided to film it just for fun. No one knew it would be anything. We just thought it'd be fun to film it and something, to show the kids when they get older. They can remember stuff, and we can look back on it and have a fun time. So thank you, first of all. But if you watch our channel, you might know that I'm a huge WCW fan. I'm not gonna. Most people would know that I think Macho Man's the greatest of all time. Of course, he was WWE as well, but he's the NWO Wolfpack. I always look back on that time period as, my one of my favorites in wrestling. Um, and this guy, woo! I don't even know if
I can't help it if I'm custom made.
he can't help it.
I'm styling and profiling. Diamonds are forever, and so is Ric Flair.
Diamonds are forever, and so is Ric Flair. Anyways, the Goldberg thing. So most people fall into two camps on Goldberg. One is he never learned how to work safely. This is true. He doesn't know any moves. I mean, I understand he's got 3 or 4 go-to moves that he does, but he could do a few other things here and there. He's done a few other things. Here's the deal, though. Also, I'm a huge Bret Hart fan, so in order for me to feel the way I feel about Goldberg, you have to take that into account too. One of my favorite moments is when in WCW when Bret takes off the jersey and Goldberg has speared him and knocks himself unconscious. Bret lifts up his hockey jersey. He's got a metal plate under it. Great stuff. And obviously, one of the things that has tainted Goldberg's legacy is the kick to Bret Hart, which Bret's never forgiven him before, all these years. And it's understandable. It did Bret damage. And so that's understandable. Say it to my face, Bill Goldberg. But beyond that, Goldberg as a phenomena, you kind of had to be there. And I also see online, I've been seeing it on Twitter, on YouTube, people saying Eric Bischoff made Goldberg. It's not really a fair thing to say because, yes, Bischoff was smart enough to give him the push and give him that undefeated streak. That was all, a big part of it. But Goldberg got over the first match when he came out and showed that athleticism. We were watching that first match. I haven't looked it up. I think it was Hugh Morris. Hilarious name, by the way. And Goldberg, we were all sitting there watching it, me and my buddies, and Goldberg comes out, hits him with the spear, hits him with the jackhammer, turns around. Shivani, I think, tries to get a word with him. Goldberg just looks at him, walks out, whatever. And we're all sitting there like, what just happened? Who is that? And so right off the bat, you're like, Goldberg had an athleticism, but also a charisma. And you can't, if you were there, you wouldn't deny that a lot of these matches had an electricity to them, especially the one with Hollywood Hogan. We were playing basketball outside, again, me and a bunch of my friends. Someone leaned out the door and said Hogan versus Goldberg was about to come on. We all ran in and watched it. It was electric. It's one of the most memorable matches, from back in that time period. So yes, there is that carryover for me. I'm always going to have a little bit of a love for Bill Goldberg. Now, when Goldberg beat The Fiend, this was something that I was of such mixed emotions on because The Fiend was my favorite wrestler at the time. And Goldberg, if we're being honest, he didn't have any business winning that belt. But there was a part of me that loved it and thought it was hilarious because I knew everyone was going to be so mad. So I posted a picture of Goldberg holding that Universal title. He had put it in his mouth and was holding it, standing on the ropes. I posted that the next day as my profile picture, and everybody was laugh reacting. Most people took it in good fun. But I also have a son, and my kids. I have a lot of sons, but my youngest son, Anakin, some of you've seen him here, he loves Goldberg. And why does he love Goldberg? Because Goldberg's like a superhero to a kid. Even Oldberg. It doesn't matter. He saw the Bobby Lashley match. He saw Goldberg spear people. He saw Goldberg on YouTube jackhammer the Giant. So my kids think, Goldberg's pretty cool. My kids are kind of old school. They like the older wrestlers. They went back and did research, and they like them. So, yeah, they think of Goldberg as a superhero. And Goldberg decided to come back so his son could see what it was like. Got no problem with that. No. Here's where the kind of issue lies, though. Did Jay have to lose the belt? And also, I'm not a Jay hater. I like Jey Uso because the kids like Jey Uso. Kids love Jey Uso. You got to have those baby faces that the kids like to keep them in the matches. We had them. We had Brett. We had Hogan. We had Sting. We had all the baby faces. But did Jay have to lose the title? Why does Gunther and Goldberg have to be a title match? And this is a good question. It's a valid question. I think the idea may be that there's a little inkling that some people are going to be worried watching that Goldberg might actually win, or that someone comes out and cheats and Goldberg actually pulls off the win. I don't think that's going to happen. I think there might be a small chance that Seth Rollins cashes in after they've beat the crap out of each other. Goldberg hits him with the jackhammer or whatever. Gunther hits him with a couple of power bombs. Maybe Seth comes out to cash in, or I don't know, something like that. And you're not going to have that element with Jey Uso against Goldberg. Jey Uso's not going to lose the belt to babyface Goldberg at age 57, I think he might be. Yeah, so that's not going to happen. But it's just a fun little story. I was just thinking about how essentially it can be reset, and sometimes we take these storylines so hard, we take them so seriously. And really, I know a lot of people, a lot of you hate Goldberg. Was it really so bad for a guy that was a legend, an icon, never got trained correctly, knows it? First time he lost, he didn't even know how long he should stay down on the mat because he never lost. He didn't know what would be a respectful amount of time to stay on the mat. This guy never got trained in the same way as some of these other guys did, but he still maintains some kind of aura. Don't lie. He has some kind of aura still. Even if it's the crowd going, Goldberg, the music hitting when someone runs their mouth. That's all cool stuff. That's wrestling. That's wrestling promotional ability and fun. And so I'm not exactly sure what to expect from the match, but I know since Gunther ran his mouth and said he had 3 minutes, it's not going to go 3 minutes. It's not going to be a regular Goldberg match. Gunther is going to get a decent match out of Goldberg. That's my prediction. Could be wrong. Come back and gloat. If I'm wrong, feel free to come back and gloat. I think it's going to be a good 10, 12 minutes. And I think it's going to be probably one of Goldberg's best matches. Even though, check out his match with Bobby Lashley. If you didn't, everybody thinks that Undertaker was was the last match. It wasn't. Bobby Lashley. And it was good. It was two big meaty men slapping meat, as Big E says. And it was good. But anyway, just a few thoughts about Goldberg. Feel free to dislike him. Feel free to disagree with me. But I got to say my piece on it. I am not mad that Goldberg's getting a retirement match. Most likely. This will most likely be his last match. I'm not mad that he's getting a retirement match against Gunther. Doesn't make me angry. That's all. Just some thoughts. Like I said, feel free to gloat. They come back. The match was 3 minutes. Gunther beat the crap out of him. Goldberg looked like he didn't belong. Whatever. But I'm always going to have that little love for Goldberg from the WCW days, where he, spread electricity to a bunch of us goofy wrestling fans. All right, thanks.